I'm laying in bed. I haven't done a YouTube video for, I don't know, a week or so now. So I thought, you know what, may as well talk about the grand final last night and just footy in general. Uh, Very entertaining game. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to sort of talk about the numbers. I'm a numbers man. Love the numbers. So like when I say, this grand final was better than that grand final, blah, I'm not just going just off the top of my head. Like there's a reason for it. There's a very good reason for it. And this finals run by the Broncos has been insane. Like I hate the Broncos normally. I had a bit of sympathy for them in recent times, given the way they lost the 2015 and 2023 grand finals. Like they were brutal. Uh, I doubt any team has lost a grand final in Australian, top level rugby league history worse than either of those two. But not having seen every grand final or studied up on every grand final, can't say that with 100% certainty. But like to be winning when the full time siren's going and lose, and then ahead 16 points with like 16 minutes, and lose. Yeah, I doubt there's been any worse loss than either of those two. Um, and which is why this finals series has been fucking crazy from them. Yeah, I've been riding that wave. But Canberra, I was going for Canberra. But when the way the Broncos won that game was, yeah, crazy. I think it was scarily similar to that grand final. I think it was 16 points, and I think it was around 16 minutes as well. Um, and when they came back and won that game, I remember I was at the bar at one point when they were 16, or it might have been after they'd scored the next try. I said to the bartenders, "Oh, I hope they get another try here. Make it close, make it entertaining at least. Yeah, be careful what you wish for." Um, but by the end, I was like, yeah, no, that game was entertaining. Like, good on you, Broncos. And it was scary the way, yeah. So they were kind of like Ben Hunt kicking the field goal, kind of started the redemption path from 2015. And yeah, just the 16 points in 16 minutes, but it's sort of like it's still, we're talking grand finals. It's up here. You can't even see my hand. And this game, first week of the finals, top four. So if you lose, you've still got another chance anyway. So it's sort of like it's a great start, but if they don't go all the way, it means absolutely nothing. Obviously, they've gone all the way, and it was quite incredible. Now, and it's not because I'm biased. I still think, like, yeah, just in terms of straight up footy, and results, the Sharks of 2016 is probably the best finals run you'll see when you get into the numbers behind it. But also the Panthers of 2021. That one's, yeah. So basically, what your average person may not realize is like NRL, basically 20 wins. If you have a 20-win season, which no one got to this season, that's you've had a pretty damn good season. Um, and so the 2021 Panthers played four finals games, uh, against four opponents whose total win count was 80. So they basically had to play a 20-win team for the season, four games in a row, which is insane. Um, and just like how close all their wins were. Like 2 points, 4 points, 2 points. So that, but in saying that though, that to me, what's brought down in terms of how good that finals run was for them is the fact that like they were so good, whereas like the Sharks were beating teams like who were basically better than them, and no one really was giving them a chance. So that's what the difference. That's why I put the Sharks a little bit above the Panthers, because the Panthers were sort of, yeah, they were expected to, like, yeah, they lost the minor premiership in the end. So that win against the Storm where they probably were the underdogs. But yeah, so I'll continue on with the Broncos in this finals first. Yeah, so the Canberra game, and it's like, and then to go. All right, so it wasn't against either of the teams that had caused them so much heartbreak. It was against a team that had nothing to do with anything really. And it was just it was a bizarre season because Canberra had a season where normally if you have a 19 win regular season, that's that's good. Like that is very very good. And it's the same with Storm last season. They just weren't that good a team. Like the yeah they were solid. Canberra were just some of the arsiness of their wins were insane. Very entertaining. Like very bloody entertaining. And that's why I said, you know what? They've been arsing it the whole season. Why not arse it the whole way to the grand final? So I had them as my favourites to win the grand final. But at the same time, I was like, would not surprise me at all if they don't even make the grand final. And then for the Broncos to do a Canberra in week one of the finals was it was funny to say the least. But then they went on and Panthers and for them to come from behind in over 3 games of footy, like, and be 40 points down overall across those 3 games, like that's crazy. I'd have to look into that, but I doubt anything similar to that has been done. Um, like I can't even think of anything that would come like off the top of my head. I've got a pretty good memory, but yeah, I can't remember anything off the top of my head that would come close. I know it was around this. They didn't end up winning, but the Bulldogs of 1998. I started watching in '97, so pretty much anything that I'm talking about, like I've got first hand watching experience. Anything before '97 is where it's only what I've read about. Oh, and I should say, when it comes to incredible finals runs, I know the Bulldogs of '95 must have. I haven't really studied into it, but I just know Manly and Canberra. I'm pretty sure it was that season. Only had 2 losses each, and the Dogs, I'm pretty sure, didn't even finish in the top 4, and they went on and won the grand final. So that must have been one day. I'll look into that, but that must have been some. And I'm not sure. I don't think they knocked both of them out, but they possibly did. The Bulldogs knocking the top 2, Canberra and Manly, out. Um, but yes, lost my train of thought there a little bit. What was I talking about last? Broncos, Panthers. 40 down 40 points across all 3 games. Um, oh yeah, Bulldogs 98 Bulldogs. Back to back wins. After being down by 16 points, include that game against the Eels. In the preliminary final. Bloody Daryl Halligan. That game was insane. But anyway, so then went on to the grand final, got pumped by the Broncos, didn't mean anything. But the Broncos and against the Panthers, and that game felt like a setup. I don't think it was a setup, but it just felt like it. At halftime, me and my nephew went to McDonald's to have a bit of a feed. By the time we got back to the pub, it was already 14-6. So I haven't watched any YouTube videos, so I don't know how that first try got scored. But just I'm just watching straight away, and I'm just sort of like said to my nephew, I was like, the Panthers are going to lose this. Like, I can just feel it. And I know the more the game went on, I'm just like, this just feels like a setup. But it's like, it's obviously not. You can't say, all right, now Reese, mate, just need you to hit that upright. Make sure you don't convert, so then we can get Reynolds. But it just felt like a setup. That's how to script. The whole game went. But yeah, no, they beat the Panthers, and at least they knocked off one of the two causes of the heartbreak. And coming from 14 points down as well. Not in like spectacular fashion like that grand final, but I just people must have the shortest memories. I remember that Broncos Raiders game, and the commentators like, "Oh, this is the greatest game that we've seen in years." I'm like, the grand final was less than 2 years ago. And that grand final, like, I know everyone thinks the 2015 grand final. Okay, just for the finish, yeah. I've watched that grand final back sober because I was loose as a goose that night. Um, Drop ballathon and not a single point scored for the last like half an hour up until that last try. Um, so it's like, yeah, well, it was close. There was only 4 points in it that whole time, but just drop ball. It's kind of like what last night turned into. Last night could have been really, really spectacular, and it was a very good game. It was entertaining. It was close, but it just turned into a drop ballathon. And some of the stuff the teams are doing, I'm like, both teams are trying to lose this. What is going on? Um, but yeah, no, that 2015 grand final. And this is that 2016 grand final so much better than the 2015 grand final. So, and the big piece of evidence for that, 2015. Just say they don't score that try. Like Felt gets tackled or whoever gets tackled. It's sort of like, okay, close game, 4 points. Could have got it there in the end. Whatever. That 2016 grand final, like just say Melbourne score at the end there. It's an insane finish either way. But like that 2016 grand final, just the quality. Look it up. The error count, I'm pretty sure, was like 5 in total. Like 2 for one team, 3 for the other. Like, it was just a fucking high quality game. Didn't turn into a drop ballathon. And yeah, it was. I was there in person at the stadium. It was bloody fantastic. Got loose as a goose that night. But yeah, last night. The Storm, I said to my friend, I was like, I don't know how the Storm just haven't been all that good this season. Like, very, solid, but not all that good. The Especially in the past like couple of months, like both of those games against the Bulldogs, like, the Bulldogs really haven't been all that good. Yeah, they really struggled. Uh, so that's why I was just like, yeah, I was like, and I hate Melbourne. I was going for Brisbane, lesser of two evils, and it was an incredible finals run they were on. So I was going for Brisbane. I was like, I was very strongly going for Brisbane. I said to my friend, I was like, I'm going for Brisbane, like as if it was a New South Wales team playing against Melbourne. That's how much I hate Melbourne. But on the flip side, like just say full time goes, Melbourne have won. Normally, like if it was against New South Wales team, I'm like, fuck Melbourne, fucking raging. But I was like, there won't be that. It would just be like, oh, it's only against Brisbane. Fuck Queensland. So yeah, but no, I was going for the Broncos, and I was quite happy they won. Reece Walsh. So in the 2023 grand final, you're not going to believe this, Manny Bevos, loose as a goose, but and I haven't watched the whole game back, but I've watched enough of the highlights and the extended highlights, and like just I think there's a YouTube video of just the whole final 20 minutes. Don't remember him doing too much wrong. He didn't really do much spectacular. I think at one point he like made a break like he was doing all season, and maybe he got tackled as he was about to pass someone and basically like knocked it on or something. But other than that, don't remember him doing too much wrong. But, and there's not many people who would have realised this, he kind of cost the Broncos that grand final, which is crazy. It was a very small thing. So it was when, I think it was when Crichton put in a grubber kick, and Walsh has got it in the in goal. He's on the ground, and Taruva's kind of like smashed over the top of him. And, okay, sure, may have hurt. You play rugby league, like he's got to be tough. If he had have tried harder, he could have gotten out of the in goal. Like, he could have just rolled. But he sort of went there. I don't know if he was trying to milk the penalty, but he's sort of like, and then someone's just come along and tackled him in goal. Go watch the highlights on YouTube. He 100% could have gotten out of there if his life depended on it. And he didn't. And if he gets out of there, I reckon, very confident Broncos win that grand final. So, and it's just, yeah, not many. Anytime I'd point this out to people, they just didn't realize. They're like, oh, okay, if you say so. I didn't really notice or think about that. I was like, well, I don't know how you don't, because these things just, I can't help it. But nah, fuck, he had an insane game last night. Like, that's got to be up there with like the most emphatic, like, man of the matches in a grand final you will ever see. Like, he was just, it's like, oh, if he played like that as well and contributed to that level to that 2023 grand final, like, yeah, much different game. But nah, good on him. So yeah, look, I hope this is a one and done for the Broncos. I hope they go another 19 years without winning a single trophy. But yeah, 16 minutes. I don't even know if I'll post this. I don't know if anyone wants to hear me blab about footy and the numbers. So yeah, when I'm thinking about like finals and it's the Sharks. I'll go into more about why I think the Sharks is the greatest finals run you'll ever see. And then I'll probably just end it. That's probably enough. So, what people probably don't remember, I don't really care if I'm just laying in bed looking like a fat, five-chinned legend. I do what I want. Oh my god, I'm sick of holding the phone though. I'll go the other hand. That's a bit better. You can see the Sharks logo better now. Yeah, so the Sharks, 2016. What people probably don't remember is, leading into that finals, the Sharks had won one game out of their final 6 regular season games. That one win was against the team that came second last. And second last, so that was the year the Knights had like the most atrocious season you've ever seen. They had one win for the whole season. So that's so bad, you almost can't even count them. So the Roosters came second last. It was the weird season where it's the only shocker they've had in since like 2013 is when they've been making the finals. I think every season except for that one. Yeah. So one win, final 6 regular season games against one team who came second last. And even so, their final 8 games, like a whole 1/3 of the whole season, only 3 wins, only against last and second last. Yeah. So there was a win against in the previous 2 games outside of those 6. There was a win against the Knights and another win against the Roosters. This is all off the top of my head. Feel free to fucking fact check. I've got a very good memory though. And so I looked into that at some point in recent times. Didn't commit it to memory or anything, but I do remember seeing like how other teams had fared in their final 6 games, and if any team had been as bad as the Sharks and gone on to win the grand final. I think the worst, basically the worst was like 3 wins out over the 6, and it might have been like the Cowboys in 2015. There might have been 1 or 2 other teams as well. Basically, no team was I don't think any team was 2 wins. But yeah, that's the Sharks like started so good, had that 15-game winning streak. Look, admittedly, a lot of those games not convincing in the slightest. I remember at one point, I don't know I don't think every game was 12 points, but I think it was in total over 4 games. they were behind by 48 points, so like an average of 12 points per game, and they came back and won all of them. So like they were doing what it takes to win, but it was ugly at times. There were a lot of come from behind wins. And then, so, finals, no one gave him a chance. And that's fair enough. Like, 100% fair enough. And then, week one of the finals against the Raiders, who, again, if you don't have the best memory like me, I don't even know if Raiders fans would remember it this well. That was the season they should have won. They were insane. That's that 10-game winning streak going into that final series. Like, and it's not, and they weren't doing what the Sharks were winning. They were winning, like, comprehensively. They were destroying teams, including the Sharks and the Storm, top two. Absolutely pumped them. And then, so the Cowboys were the other top four team. I'm pretty sure there was a win against the Cowboys in that 10-game winning run. Like, they were just beating everyone. And not by small amounts for much. There was a couple of games in that winning streak that were like maybe 4 points. But yeah, they were just pumping everyone. And then that game, the Sharks just had the game of a lifetime. It's kind of like the Broncos with how, it's the grand. That's actually scary how similar that it is. First game against the Raiders, and then the grand final against the Storm. But it's like it's the game against the Raiders that just set it up, and for the Broncos and for the Sharks. Like, they were down by 12. Gallen was already out, their captain. Wade Graham, I think it was a concussion within like 10 minutes, gone. And the Raiders were on a roll, bang. They were up 12-0, like, very quick, within like 20 minutes. The Sharks, in Canberra, because Canberra had leapfrogged the Sharks on the final round of the season into second place. The Sharks should have had no chance, and they just, it's one of the most incredible games like you'll ever see. Like, just gutsiness, Matt Pryor, unbelievable. But yeah, so the Sharks managed to win that, and then went on. Cowboys, defending premiers. Again, Broncos this year. Like, obviously not Cowboys, but defending premiers. The only difference there is the Sharks just pumped them. Absolutely pumped them. It was never in doubt. The Cowboys, but not many people gave the Sharks a chance. I'm like, okay, don't know what you people are on about. Like, the Cowboys had played a tough game against the Broncos earlier, the week before. Went to, like, golden try. I was like, nah, the Sharks are going to win, and they're going to win easy. The Cowboys got a two or three late consolation tries, so the scoreboard didn't look too bad. I think it ended up being like 32-20 or something. But no, that was a shellacking. And yeah, then the grand final against the Storm. And again, the Storm very, very easily could have scored it right at the death. Just like that. Yeah, that is. I hadn't really given any of the thought to the Sharks season of 2000, or final series of 2016, like, before doing this video. Yeah, that is scary how similar it all played out. But yeah, no, that's, and just to show how good my memory is, like, there is nothing in front of me here. Like, not sitting here with someone holding a sign up. Now, the difference between the two, big difference, quality of the opposition, not just in terms of, like, how good the teams are, but just straight up win numbers. I remember 2016, over those 3 games, the Sharks opponents won 55 games over the season. Which is, like, basically 18, so 18, 36, 54. Yeah, so basically 3 teams have all won at least 18 games each over the season, which is high. The only other team outside of that Panthers 2021 who comes close, since it's been the NRL since I've been watching, is the Roosters of 2019. I remember they also, their 3 opponents over that final series was 55 as well in total. But like, you know, they were already the defending premiers. It's the fucking Roosters, you know. They don't have to worry about any salary cap stuff. Well, it seems on paper sometimes they don't have to worry about the salary cap. Yeah, there was no redemption story. There was no, one win in the final 6 games of the regular season going into that game, into that final series. And let's not mention that was a beautiful thing about that 2016 grand final. Just there was no reffing errors like at all. It was just a flawless game, or almost even in terms of like errors. Whereas that Raiders game against the Roosters, feel bad for the Raiders for that one, but not even just that. The bloody I had this mate from work who used to do it. It was fucking hilarious. Like, what's the signal when they do the 6 again? It's like, I don't know, my mate. I can't remember. But yeah, no, that. But even just like when the ball hit the Roosters trainer, and I think their set got restarted. Even that was bullshit. But yeah, no. So for the Raiders, this year was not the season that got away. 2019 was not the season that got away. 2016 was the year that got away. And it's all because of the Sharks. And couldn't care less, couldn't give a shit. You guys had won grand finals before. Sure, it's been a long time. But, no, the Sharks needed that. I said at the time, I was like, man, I don't care if we never win another grand final. Like, it's... And let's be real, they haven't really come close since. Honestly, against the Storm, I gave them a real good chance. Like, fuck, man. They had been impressive in those first 2 games this final series, but had a few bevos for that game. Wasn't completely loose as a goose, but don't remember the game 100%. I remember the Sharks they just couldn't quite match it with Melbourne. But what do you do? Oh, I might wrap this up before it gets to the half-hour mark. Don't even know if I'll bother posting it. Don't know if anyone wants to hear me talk about footy for that long. What else? Do I have any other strange... Oh, well, just to put it on record, the best NRL team I've seen in my lifetime, with not even second place, not even close, the 2022 Panthers. They were not losing to anyone. It was just a matter of who was going to make the grand final against them. They were not losing. And I was correct about that. So they were a 20 regular season winning team. And for the Raiders to get within 1 win of that, so like Raiders down here, that Panthers team, like I can't even lift my it was insane how good they were. Yeah, that's just it. So I once the Panthers started going on their run, I thought, you know what, they're actually gonna go all the way and win the grand final. I really did. At least they went out in a close game, And look, against the Broncos, like against a team that had very good fucking reason for being motivated to beat them. But nah, man, it's the Panthers. A good season overall. To come from last after 12 rounds, and get to the preliminary and lose, in the dying minutes of the game against the team who ended up going on to win. Nothing to be ashamed of there. The Broncos, yeah, it's been an incredible season, and I hope it's not so much the season, but the finish to the season. So they were lucky to make the top 4 with their points and differential. I was checking the ladders of previous seasons before. There were seasons where they could have finished as low as 7th, so they were lucky. Equal points with the Sharks. Sharks just had a worse for and against. This was the Broncos' season of luck, and I hope it was a one-off. But at the end of the day, better them than Melbourne any day of the week. So next year, if it comes to them in Melbourne again, I'm Team Broncos. hate Melbourne.